New year, a whole bunch of resolutions that deal with paying off debt and paying more money to yourself. Scott Braddock with Scott Braddock Financial is joining us to talk about some realistic ways that all of us can save money and pay down our debt this year. And I think that is the key, realistic.
That's right. Any goal needs to be realistic. We need to analyze the goal. We need to take everything into consideration and just be fair to ourselves. If we're going to achieve the goal, we have to be realistic.
All right. So one of the things that I know that you're going to say is you need to take your money out of your bank savings account. And people are going to be like, what does he mean by that? But you have a good place for us to put it.
That's right. It doesn't mean send it to me. What it means is take a look at the opportunities and the other possibilities that are available outside of your typical bank. And what I mean to say by that is right now, interest rates are still sort of high. I mean, if you look at the last 10 years, that's a true statement. However, high yield savings accounts typically pay better. Well, they absolutely pay better than your traditional checking and savings accounts do. So that's a very risk-free way to save money and earn more on top of it is those high yield savings account. We're looking at maybe 4.5% still.
Okay, and for folks at home, do you know what your bank is giving you for your savings account? It's like 0.01%. So maybe you don't take all your money out of your bank savings account because you need it for your checking and overdraft and stuff like that. But if you've got a good chunk of money, you could put it in that high yield and it could actually make you some cash.
You know, the key is just having different buckets of money doing different things. So we absolutely need to have money ready in our checking account for everyday expenses. For money that's truly for savings, money that you have in a money market, a savings account, look at the high yield savings. It's an excellent way, or an alternative rather, to save more of your money.
Okay, and usually you have to look somewhere online. It's not something that your regular brick and mortar bank is going to be able to do that for you.
Well, you nailed it there, Tanya. The reason they're able to pay higher interest is because they don't have a brick and mortar building. So these are online through very reputable companies. Capital One, I don't sponsor Capital One. That just happens to be an example of one of the banks that are paying more than the regular brick and mortar buildings because they don't have the overhead expenses. They can pay you more on your money.
Yeah. Okay. So high yield savings account, that's one of the realistic ways to save more money and get paid for saving your money. The other one you say is pay yourself. But let's talk about kind of the more up-to-date realistic way to do that.
Well, you know, automation is one of the key words that I'd like folks to take into 2026 with them. It's if we go ahead and we set up where money automatically goes from our paychecks to a savings vehicle, we don't see the money, right? It's very hard to spend money that you never even see. Again, be realistic, however. Make sure you're not taking more money than you can afford to and putting that into a savings account. So start small as well. That's another good tip. Start small. Oftentimes it's a game of inches, but get started. Take that first initial step, have money automated to automatically go to your savings.
That's right. So you get your paycheck, but you don't even see that maybe $25 or maybe that $200. It just goes automatically into savings. You don't even touch it. You don't even transfer it.
If you need to start that small, absolutely. It's just about getting started. What I've seen is that momentum is built once you take that first initial step. You'll build from 20. You'll start to see how that's working, the impact. And before you know it, you're saving $100 to $200 and your savings account is up to $10,000. It happens over time. Be realistic. It takes time. Be patient with yourself. Consistency is more important than perfection.
All right, we got about a minute left. Debt is a big stress. You got some ways for us to pay it down faster without feeling overwhelmed?
Well, look, we need to pay down our debt. We need to also make sure that we're not taking on more debt. That's probably most important. Pay down your current debt. I love the avalanche approach. High interest rates are killing us. Take a look at this approach. This is where you organize or orchestrate your interest rates on your credit cards. Pay the highest one off first. Once that one is paid off, take the money that, and this is important, take the money that you were contributing to that credit card, add it to the next one. That's an important step here. And you'll build momentum over time. And that's an excellent way to pay down those high interest rate credit cards. The other idea here is to pay off debts in general by orchestrating them from the lowest debt to the highest debt. Again, you'll feel satisfaction here by paying off that small debt. It's out of the way. Take the money you were contributing to that debt, put it towards the next one. Once more, we're building up momentum, just much like a snowball rolling down a hill, and that is the idea. That's the idea.
All right, we appreciate the realistic ways to be able to pay down debt, pay down ourselves, and save some bucks. Hey, if you missed some of this, maybe you need to send it to a family member or a loved one that needs to hear this. This is going to be in the 2 Wants to Know section of our website. Right now, we're going to take a check on the forecast.